What if I told you that the way you've been studying your entire life is completely wrong? Not slightly wrong, not a little off, completely wrong. Everything your teachers told you, reread your notes, highlight the important parts, study for hours until it sticks. Science has now proven that almost all of it is actually one of the worst ways to learn. And the worst part? The students who use these wrong methods feel like they're learning. They feel productive. They feel confident going into the exam until they sit down and realize they remember almost nothing. I've spent the last 6 months going deep into neuroscience research, cognitive psychology studies, and the learning strategies of the world's top performers, chess grandmasters, surgeons, Olympic athletes, polyglots who speak 10 languages. And what I found completely changed how I learn. Everything. Languages, skills, concepts, information. Today I'm going to give you the exact science-backed methods that will let you learn anything, and I mean anything, up to 10 times faster than you're doing right now. And I'm going to show you the research that proves it. Stay until method number 5, because that one alone cut my learning time in half, and almost nobody is using it. Let's get into it. Before I give you the methods, I need to explain why most people learn so slowly. And it comes down to one thing: the illusion of learning. Here's what happens. You sit down to study something new. You read through your notes. You watch a lecture. You highlight things in your textbook. And by the end of it, you feel like you've learned it. It feels understood. But here's the brutal truth. Familiarity is not the same as learning. When something feels familiar, your brain is recognizing it, not storing it, not building it into long-term memory, just recognizing it like a face you've seen before. This is called the fluency illusion, and psychologists at UCLA have been studying it for decades. Students who reread their notes consistently overestimate how much they actually know by up to 40%. So you spent 4 hours studying. You feel confident. You go to sleep. And the next morning, 70% of it is gone. This is called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, discovered by German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus in 1885. And it's still one of the most important discoveries in learning science. Within 24 hours of learning something new, you forget 70% of it. Within a week, you forget 90%. Unless you use the right strategies. And that's exactly what today is about. 6 science-backed methods that work with how your brain actually stores information, not against it. Let's start with method number 1. Method number 1 is called active recall. And this is the single most powerful learning technique that science has ever discovered. Here's how it works. Instead of reading your notes over and over, you close the book and you try to remember what you just learned from scratch without looking. That's it. That's the whole method. But here's why it's so powerful. Every time your brain struggles to retrieve a piece of information, it strengthens the neural pathway connected to that information. The struggle is the learning. Think of your memory like a muscle. Rereading is like looking at a weight. Active recall is like actually lifting it. A landmark study from Purdue University, published in the journal Science, tested 2 groups of students learning the same material. Group 1 studied normally. Group 2 used active recall. They read the material once, then tried to recall it repeatedly. 1 week later, Group 2 remembered 50% more than Group 1. Same material, same time, just a different method. How to use active recall today. Step 1. Read or watch something new for 20 to 25 minutes. Step 2. Close everything. Take out a blank piece of paper. Step 3. Write down everything you can remember. No peeking. Step 4. Then open your notes and check what you missed. Those gaps, the things you couldn't remember, those are your actual learning targets. You can also use flashcards, Anki app, or just ask yourself questions out loud while walking. The key rule: never reread what you already know. Only restudy what you forgot. This one method alone will change how fast you learn. I promise you. Method number 2 is spaced repetition. And this is the direct weapon against the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve I mentioned earlier. Here's the problem it solves. Your brain forgets things on a predictable schedule. So what if you reviewed things on that exact schedule, right before you were about to forget them? That's spaced repetition. Instead of studying something once for 4 hours, you study it for 30 minutes today, 15 minutes tomorrow, 10 minutes in 3 days, 5 minutes next week. Each time you review it, right before forgetting, the memory gets stronger and lasts longer. A study from the University of California found that students using spaced repetition retained 80% of material after 60 days, compared to just 20% for students who studied in one long session. Same total study time. 4 times the retention. The spaced repetition schedule. Day 1. Learn the material. First review. 24 hours later. Day 4. Second review. Day 14. Fourth review. Day 30. Final review. After this schedule, the information moves from short-term to long-term memory permanently. Best free tool. Download the Anki app. It's completely free and automatically schedules your reviews based on how well you remember each card. It's used by medical students, language learners, and law students worldwide. The key insight here: it's not how long you study. It's when you study. Study smart, not long. Method number 3 is one of my personal favorites. It's called the Feynman technique, named after Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winning physicist and one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. Feynman had one rule for truly understanding something: if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. Here's how the technique works. It has 4 steps. Step 1. Pick a concept you want to learn. Could be anything. Photosynthesis, compound interest, machine learning, anything. Step 2. Explain it like you're teaching a 12-year-old. Take out a blank piece of paper. Write the concept at the top. Then explain it below in the simplest possible language. No jargon, no complex terms. Pretend you're explaining it to a kid who has never heard of it. Step 3. Identify where you get stuck. The moment your explanation gets complicated or vague, that's where your understanding breaks down. That's the gap. Step 4. Go back and fill the gap. Then simplify again. Here's why this works so powerfully. Your brain is incredibly good at faking understanding. You can read something, nod along, feel like you get it, and actually have zero real understanding. But the moment you try to explain it simply, the gaps become impossible to hide. I used this technique when I was learning about investing. I thought I understood compound interest. I tried to explain it to an imaginary 12-year-old. I got stuck in 90 seconds. That told me exactly what I didn't know. I went back, filled the gaps, tried again. By the 3rd attempt, I could explain it in 2 sentences. Now, I'll never forget it. The rule is simple. If you can't teach it, you don't know it yet. Method number 4 is going to feel completely wrong when I first explain it. But stay with me. Because the research behind this is extraordinary. It's called interleaving. Here's the traditional way people study. You pick one topic, study it completely, master it, then move to the next. This is called blocked practice. It feels logical. It feels organized. Here's what science says. It's actually one of the least effective ways to learn. Interleaving means mixing up different topics or skills within a single study session. Instead of focusing on one thing at a time, for example, instead of practicing 30 multiplication problems in a row, you mix in division, addition, and subtraction problems randomly. A study from California Polytechnic University gave two groups of students math problems to practice. Group 1 used blocked practice, one type at a time. Group 2 used interleaving, mixed types randomly. During practice, Group 1 performed better. On the final test 1 week later, Group 2 scored 43% higher. Why? Because interleaving forces your brain to constantly identify which strategy to use, not just execute a memorized pattern. It builds deeper, more flexible understanding. How to use interleaving, studying 3 topics? Don't do topic 1 completely, then topic 2. Rotate. 20 minutes topic 1, 20 minutes topic 3, repeat. Learning guitar? Don't practice one chord for an hour. Mix chords, strumming patterns, and songs together. Learning a language? Mix vocabulary, grammar, and speaking practice in every session. It will feel harder. It will feel less smooth. That difficulty is the point. It means your brain is working harder, building stronger connections. Embrace the struggle. That's where real learning lives. Okay, this is the one I promised you in the beginning. Method number 5. The one that cut my learning time in half. It's called the 50-50 rule. And I first came across it in a book called The Impact Equation by Chris Brogan and Julian Smith. Here's the rule. Spend 50% of your learning time consuming information and 50% of your time sharing or teaching what you learned. Most people spend 90% consuming, 10% doing anything with it. And that's exactly why they forget almost everything. Here's the neuroscience. When you know you're going to have to teach or share something, your brain automatically pays more attention while you're learning it. This is called the protégé effect, studied extensively by researchers at Washington University. Students who were told they would teach the material to others after learning it remembered significantly more than students who were just told to study for a test. Your brain shifts from passive absorption to active organization. It starts asking, how would I explain this? What's the most important part? What are the examples I'd use? How to apply the 50-50 rule. Option 1. Start a YouTube channel. Every video you make forces you to learn deeply. This is literally what you're doing right now. Option 2. Teach a friend. After learning something new, call or text someone and explain what you learned. Even a 5-minute voice note works. Option 3. Write a Twitter thread or Instagram post. Summarizing what you learned publicly forces clarity. Option 4. Keep a teaching journal. After every learning session, write a short explanation of what you learned, as if writing for someone else. The moment you commit to sharing knowledge, you become a dramatically better learner. It's one of the most underrated secrets of the world's fastest learners. Method number 6. And this one separates people who get good from people who get great. It's called deliberate practice, a concept developed by psychologist Anders Ericsson after studying world-class performers across chess, music, sports, and medicine for over 20 years. You've probably heard of the 10,000-hour rule. made famous by Malcolm Gladwell. The idea that you need 10,000 hours to master anything. Here's what Gladwell left out. The hours only count if they're the right kind of hours. Erickson's research showed that most people practice in a way that keeps them comfortable. They do what they're already good at. They stay in their comfort zone, and they wonder why they stop improving after a certain point. Deliberate practice is the opposite. It means, Rule 1, practice at the edge of your ability. Not so easy that it's boring, not so hard that it's impossible. Right at the edge, where you're stretching but not breaking. Psychologists call this the zone of proximal development. Rule 2, get immediate feedback. You must know immediately when you made a mistake and why. Without feedback, you're just reinforcing bad habits. This is why a great coach or mentor accelerates learning faster than anything else. Rule 3, focus on your weakest points. Beginners practice what they're good at. Experts practice what they're bad at. Every session should target your specific weaknesses, not your comfortable strengths. Rule 4, full concentration. No distractions. Erickson found that elite performers rarely practiced more than 4 hours per day, but those 4 hours were completely focused. No phone, no music, no half attention. 4 hours of deliberate practice beats 10 hours of casual practice every single time. The question is never, how long did you practice? The question is always, how deliberately did you practice? Okay, let's bring it all together. 6 science-backed methods to learn anything up to 10 times faster. Method 1, active recall. Close the book. Retrieve from memory. The struggle builds the memory. Method 2, spaced repetition. Review right before you forget. Use Anki. It's not how long, it's when. Method 3, the Feynman technique. If you can't explain it simply, you don't know it. Teach it to a 12-year-old. Method 4, interleaving. Mix up your topics. Embrace the difficulty. Deeper learning lives in the discomfort. Method 5, the 50-50 rule. Spend half your time learning. Spend half your time sharing. Teaching is the ultimate learning hack. Method 6, deliberate practice. Practice at the edge. Get feedback. Attack your weaknesses. Full focus always. Now, here's the most important thing I want to leave you with. You don't need to use all 6 methods today. That would be overwhelming, and you'd end up using none of them. Pick one. Just one. Start with active recall, because it's the simplest and the science is the clearest. Tonight, after you finish watching this video, take out a blank piece of paper and write down everything you remember from this video without looking. That right there is active recall. And you'll be shocked by how much you actually retained. The people who learn the fastest aren't the smartest. They aren't the most talented. They're the ones who figured out that learning is a skill. And like any skill, it can be improved with the right methods. You now have the methods. The only question is, will you use them? If this video helped you, share it with one person who's trying to learn something right now. A student, a friend, a colleague. It might genuinely change how they approach learning forever. And if you want me to do a deep dive on any one of these methods, the full research, the step-by-step system, the tools, drop it in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.